In this video, I'll give you the quarterback values that you can find in different parts of your fantasy drafts. I'm Jim Coventry of RotoWire. Let's start out with Kyler Murray, who is frequently going as the quarterback 7 in average drafts. Now, remember, last year, Kyler Murray returned from a 2022 ACL injury, came back in week 10. So the injury history is interesting because his first 2 years in the league, he barely missed time. Murray's third year, he had a shoulder injury, but the last 2 years has been one injury. So maybe some injury prone nature, but maybe not as much as we think. Anyway, last year, Drew Petzing's the offensive coordinator in Arizona, and he did a phenomenal job all year with that team. Kyler Murray was no exception. Kyler Murray had between 19 and a half and 26 fantasy points in 7 of the 8 games he played. And that was with Marquise Brown missing a lot of time. Also, Michael Wilson missed significant time. There were many games when Trey McBride was a de facto number 1 receiver, and yet Kyler Murray continued to eat. His rushing production started to go up a bit too toward the end of the season, 24 to 49 yards in his last 4 games, not where we'd like it. But again, a year removed from the ACL, we could get there. Now, Marvin Harrison in the mix, Michael Wilson perfectly cast as a number 2. And remember, Michael Wilson had at least 56 yards in 5 of his first 8 games with Clayton Tune and Joshua Dobbs. Last 2 games after he settled in from his injury with Murray, averaged 65 yards. Michael Wilson's better than a lot of people think. And of course, McBride's in the mix. So yes, Kyler Murray could beat that ADP of QB7. Little bit of an injury worry, but nonetheless, he could finish as high as the quarterback 4. Next, we have Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears, and his ADP has been inching up throughout August. In the last couple days per Fantasy Mojo ADP, Williams is the quarterback 12, but I still think he's a very good value there. Look, preseason means nothing, and I understand that. But we did see Caleb Williams willing to run. That's important. We saw him able to extend plays. We saw him throw into a very tight window to DJ Moore when 3 defenders were around him, and he drilled a perfect strike. We saw Williams throw over the top of defenders when buying time to Cole Kmet. These are the little things we need to see that let us know, you know what? Williams is in a good spot here. The offensive line is decent. The weapons, of course, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, and even out of the backfield as a receiver, DeAndre Swift. Again, the rushing floor for Williams, I think, is going to be very solid as well. Caleb Williams, we often see it happen with rookies. They outperform that ADP. The uncertainty drove his draft stock down a bit, and the fact he's not seen as an elite runner, buy the dip. And if you're going to pass on quarterback, Williams could be a great player to roster. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings by getting a free 2-day trial with no credit card needed. You just head on over to rotowire.com/Jim and you can check out all of our content. All right, Jared Goff, a player I haven't mentioned a lot in the preseason, average ADP in recent drafts per Fantasy Mojo, my go-to, quarterback 15. Now, all that said, backup quarterback lane, sure, but a lot of leagues draft 2 quarterbacks. And of course, we're not talking about super flex here. Single quarterback leagues, we do draft 2 on occasion. So that's it. Jared Goff has had 29 or 30 touchdowns in each of the last 3 years. Now, in 2021, we only played 14 games. Touchdowns would have been higher. Last 2 seasons, played 17 games, right around 4,500 yards. He is as steady as they come. Here's been the problem with Goff. Home Goff, road Goff. We know it's been a drastic difference. But many analysts are coming to understand, often Jared Goff, if he's on the road in an indoor venue, is not as bad as Jared Goff in an outdoors venue on the road. And here's what you need to know. Goff only has 3 games played outdoors this season. Now, 2 of those are in the fantasy playoffs, but during the fantasy regular season, if you need Goff and you believe playing indoors is really his optimal scenario, You're going to get that in almost every game in a fantasy regular season. So Jared Goff, we know the offense there. Ben Johnson constructs a perfect offense for Goff. It focuses on the middle of the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. We'll see how they blend in. Jamison Williams is having a great camp. But nonetheless, this is a high-performing offense with an excellent offensive line. And Jared Goff should continue to put up plenty of fantasy points as the Lions light up the scoreboard. And last one, Kirk Cousins, quarterback 17, going very late. Again, if you need a second quarterback, take a look at Cousins. Look, he had an Achilles injury last year. I understand. Week 8, I'm not worried. Why is this fool not worried? An Achilles tendon injury saps explosiveness. Seriously, has Kirk Cousins been explosive in the last 5 years? Does he run? No, he's a pocket passer. He's healed from this injury. He's not a runner. He's not going to test it. Kirk Cousins is in an offense that he knows. Zach Robinson comes over. Remember, Cousins is on the Falcons now. Well, Robinson coached with the Rams. Kevin O'Connell was Kirk Cousins' last coach. Rams system. Cousins has already said, very little learning curve. I know this offense. Before the injury last year, Cousins went on pace for a career year. 8 games, 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns. Solid season. Looked great. He averaged 30 touchdowns from 2017 to 2022. Now, the new offense comes in. You got Drake London. You got Kyle Pitts. You got the speed of Darnell Mooney. Good weapons. Offensive line. Very good. Kirk Cousins should be able to put up plenty of fantasy points. And hey, Bijan Robinson as a receiver out of the backfield. Can't discount that as well. So Kirk Cousins at quarterback 17. Yeah, give me shares of him as a backup.